Hey, this is Hans from Requests for Music, and yes, a new module. Um, I really love sequencers and love programming them. So I've done quite a few in the meantime, but since I'm working with Bitwig for a couple of months or so, I really like how you can have multiple sequences running parallel and doing stuff with that. And of course, you can do that with all kinds of separate sequencers in there. But I wanted to have more focus, more oversight, more overview of what I'm doing. So I've created steps, and steps has 4 lanes of sequences, and those 4 lanes of sequences can run in parallel, and obviously they're synced together. And let's first go over some of the settings that you can have. You have an external clock and an external reset for the global machine. You have an overall run, so it would not function unless I have the run on. I have a mode switch, and that mode switch goes between parallel, chain, and a hybrid, and we'll get back to that later. We have a source for the clock input, if it's internal or external. I have the BPM, of course, and next to the BPM I have a pulse per quarter, because it might be that you want slower or faster than whatever the normal BPM is. So you have a different or a separate knob to set that. You have a gate length that you can set, which can be handy for very fast sections or very fast sequences that you would run. There's an overall reset button and an overall transpose button. Oh, sorry, the reset button and a transpose knob. And there's a pitch and a gate output here that has to do with this chain thing that I mentioned. Uh, then, if I come into the lanes, the 4 lanes have the same sort of controls, which are a number of steps part that I can actually change. You see that the active step is, or the one that would be currently running, is the one that has a blue back outline. Sorry. And for the rest, I can see that I can add extra notes or extra steps in there, and those steps have a dot on the top, and the top dot is the gate, if it sends out a gate or not. If you want to set that, you can actually go on that step and right click, and you'll see that you can set that gate off. For the rest, if I click this on, and click this on, it will start running. And then apart from the blue line, and obviously I don't hear anything, but apart from the blue line, you see this yellowish line, and the yellowish line is the actively selected node. And that means that I can change the selection by dialing on this knob, and so you see that it goes on, and you see a preview of the note number and so on, and you can have a value that you can turn on or off to set that note. And on the right side, I have a switch here called span, and the span can be switched from 1, which means that it's only having 1 octave within 1 octave plus the next octave notes, from C3 to C4. If I set it to step number 2 here, which will mean that the span goes from C3 up to C5, and the next one would be 3 octaves, so it goes up to C6. But obviously there's a transpose as well, which can go up or down 2 octaves. So you see that the note itself runs with that, so you have a good good overview of what you're doing, hopefully. So span, transpose, that's it. For the rest, because it's watching, if you click on one of those bars, you can actually draw out your sequences like this, for instance. And for the rest, you see that there's this pair and chain, or CHN switches, and the first one's actually parallel, but it needs to be on. It's enabled that way. and the channel is, or the chain, sorry, is the one that decides if it's going to work in chain or not. What does that mean? Let me take out my prism. Where is it? Prism. I'll take my prism because it has pitch and gate, so I have a full oscillator instrument or whatever. So I'll take this and I'll actually take it into my mix unit, where I can take the output of this and drive that into the output there. So I will not put it too loud because it's otherwise pushes away my my vocals, my commentary anyway. So let's put it here, and I'll put it a bit on the side, and I'll switch my envelope on, so it's going to drive those notes now. So, well, obviously if I have this, now I've got 8 notes, and I can get it back to 1 note if I want it, or I can put it up to 16 notes, and could do something like this. But as I said, sorry, I can actually switch some of the gates off to get different kinds of melodies. So I've got this now, and let's say I wanted a next oscillator as well, so I'll put in the next one and take the second one, the second lane into this, put it in here and switch that one on. So no, I've only got that note, so let's do something like this, and dial this to the side. As you hear, they are in sync. The first one has 16 steps, this has 8 steps, so great. And I could of course put this into 7 notes to get different kinds of effects, but it would still be in sync. Then I have this division thing, so that means that div, which means that it's dividing the clock by whatever setting you have here. So you could actually lower such a track. It will still be synced to other notes, but it will be in other settings. So this is so something like that. Very weird rhythm, very weird melody, but anyway, bear with me. So a next one could be chosen to do some other stuff. I mean, I can. Oh, first of all, the chain. Sorry. This one is now running in parallel. This is also running in parallel because there is no other track that is also chained. As soon as I chain this, it will wait for this, and I say that, but I forgot one thing, because there's a mode switch here, and the mode switch says you're in parallel mode. In the middle it would be in chain mode, and in chain mode it will chain all of the lanes that are chained together, top down. So I've got these melodies now, and if I put this on as well and I put it on, it will actually go from this in the end to this one, but obviously there's sort of a void here for all of those notes unless I put some notes in there. And maybe it would be better if I also had something driven by these notes. Forgot all about that, of course. But so you see that it comes into this lane. The top setting of this mode switch is a hybrid setting, which means that it can do both the chains ones and the ones that are parallel. So this will still run. So let's do something else with this, and I'll give it more steps, and I'll dial something like this in, and I'll take the pitch out, and I'll put the pitch into the emotion of this one and drive that up, because I can also use it as sort of control voltage, right? So that's what this is doing. Let's so, and as soon as I switch any of those sorry, as soon as I switch any of those here out of chain, it will be parallel. So now this is running at its own speed to whatever it's going to do, right? So you can work with it like that. I could also, let's switch some stuff off. So I have just this first one and it's not being driven anymore. I'll dial this emotion back anyway to get some more normal notes. Dial this back a bit. But I could, for instance, also take, well, let's say that I wanted to use only 2 steps for these. I could take the pitch setting out, and I'll take this out first, and put this into this input, which is a transpose input. So that means that if this runs, it will change the transposition of, or the transposing of those pitches there, which is very fast, but that's where the division is for. So if I divide this, it's going to go in another tempo over this. So take this even longer. So now it switches it, and maybe let's say this has a division of 4. Let's do this like 16, so it has 4 times the division of the other one. Let's make sure that they reset and sync to the same point. So you see now that every 4 notes, this is going to line up with that. So every 4 notes will be transposed. So if I would want to do something like take it to 1 octave and just the first 4 go in a higher octave, next in a lower, and so on, I could do stuff like that. So it's a matter of calculating a bit what you're doing. But anyway, that gives you hopefully a suggestion of what STEPZ can do for you. It will be in stores within a couple of days, I guess. So I hope you like that, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Bye bye.